Good afternoon, my friends. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Today's topic is going to be about how to balance everything in life. But first, I want to announce that me and LP will be at the Arnold in Columbus, Ohio in 1 week from now. Next weekend, we'll be flying in on Thursday. We'll be leaving on Sunday, so we'll be there all 3 days. You can come and meet us at the Ice Toy booth. We'll be filming CT Fletcher. We'll be doing workouts at night, doing like cool gym trips and whatnot. So I'm excited to see you guys there. I cannot wait to give you all hugs, and I will see you in 1 week. Moving on to the video. Now, today's topic came from Mark, but you guys can send in questions or topic ideas on any form of social media, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, here on YouTube in the comments, anything, and I read them and it spawns new ideas. So hopefully you guys like the topic today. This is what he says. He says, hope you're well, enjoyed your latest upload. It gave me an idea for the next episode. I'd like for you to cover life balance, blockers for achieving your life goals and getting things done. So many people want to do things but let excuses and commitments or things get in the way as an easy way out. I thought it would be great to hear your perspective on this. Like in my case, it's my family, my partner, and my daughter. So the question is basically, how do I balance everything in my life in terms of progression in like work, in passion, in putting effort towards something to build something else, and how do I balance that with, you know, leisure time, vacation, partying, friends, family, commitments, things like that, you know? So how do you mix pleasure and family and balance it into life, basically? Okay, so look at this. Balancing work and balancing pleasure, I think, is a very tightrope type of walk. It's different for every single person, and there's a different composition of work and pleasure combined that work for each person. So some people might work 80% of their life and give 20% of their life towards their family, friends, and doing other things other than work, and that might work perfectly for them because that's the type of person they are. But some people may not be able to survive on that at all, and maybe it's the other way around. They need to spend 80% of their life with their family and their friends and enjoying themselves and doing things they love, and then they can only spend 20% doing things that they don't quite love or that they have to actually put work in towards. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit, and we're also going to talk about how to kind of find your balance. But I would also like to point out that there are times in life where you dedicate yourself to either one almost entirely, and that's okay. You can go through those phases. Like, for example, there was 1 year, 2 years back in 2014, where I put out an episode every single day on my YouTube channel. So I put a video up every single day, 365 days of the year. And back then I wasn't quite as proficient as I am in my workflow and in the time it would take me to make a video. So it would take between 3 and 6 hours every single day. Every single day. And then of course I would also do my other stuff, my college, my workouts, my work itself, my homework, things like that. And I would just overwork myself, and I literally spent zero time for myself in terms of like trying to go with girls on dates or things like that. I never went on a single date that whole year. I remember I just did not have time, and I did not care. And when I would go on a date, or I would like talk to a girl and start spending time talking to her and stuff, I'd be like, man, this is so much of my time. And I think that working is more valuable to me right now than, you know, trying to kiss this girl down the road or whatever. So there are times when work is the thing that you should do 100%, especially if it's like what's making you happy, and especially if it makes you unhappy to stop working and to go try to force yourself to do these other things. If you know that your goal is, you know, this long or whatever, and you need to put in this much work, it's hard for you to step back and be like, you know what, I'll just wait and I'll let that go slower, right? Then of course there's the exact opposite, where sometimes you need to spend all of your time with your family and friends, or your pleasures or whatever. So say you have a new girlfriend, you want to spend all your time with her because she's brand new. Or say that you know, one of your family or friends comes into town for the next 3-4 months, and they don't usually stay here, and they're gonna be gone again on the other side of the country, and so you want to spend all your time with that person and just hanging out. Or say you have a massive passion for video games or a new car or something, so you just got that new thing, and then you spend all your time driving around or driving around on your video game, whatever it is, and you're just enjoying yourself. But you really want to do that, and it's actually not holding you back from anything else that you're doing in your life. I think both are fine, especially in those phases that I was talking about, where you go 100% either way, or, you know, like a majority either way for a phase, right? But I would say it's very difficult to do your entire life as just a worker person or just a pleasure person. Of course, you're gonna have to find a fine balance. Now, I tend to more towards the side of a worker person. I like to work a lot. Now, I can give you a quick example of someone who's more so towards the family, friends, and passion, pleasure a portion, which would be my best friend, Kurt. And this is not to say anything about either of us being better or worse than the other person. It's just literally personality types and the way we like to go about life. Kurt loves to be happy. He loves to go surfing. He loves to be able to play music. He loves to have his free time. He loves to be able to do whatever he wants to with his girlfriend. Whenever she's, you know, not working, he wants to be available, things like that. So he wants to be able to enjoy his life as much as possible. So for him, as long as he's making enough money to live every single month and keep going every year by year by year, he's happy. But for me, just something inside of me has always been kind of a builder person. So I always want to make something bigger and better than I've ever had before. So each year I need to progress, and that's the only way that I can be happy. I cannot be happy if I'm stagnant. So that would make me more towards the work type of person. So you see, the two different personality types kind of lend you to doing two different types and kind of predispose you towards what composition of work and play that you should mix into your life to have a good balance. So I think every single person should sit down and think, and maybe even write a list of the goals that you want to achieve in the next however long period of time, maybe a short-term and long-term goal list. And also, what would ultimately make you happy? What would make you the happiest to be doing for your entire life? So that means, like, maybe I want to have this many subscribers on my channel. I want my brand to grow this big. I want to be able to work only this many hours per week. I want to be able to weigh this much and have this type of physique. I want to travel to this, and this country. See what I'm saying? If you listen, I mean, you're hearing me point out a lot of goals that involve work and involve my passion and involve my physique, which is another passion of mine. So it's like all very much so that working style goals. And maybe if you ask someone else the same question, like Kurt, you might get a whole different set of answers that has nothing to do with money or viewage or being able to travel to this place or have this type of physique. Maybe it's much more about having time to spend with his girlfriend or being happy in the passion that he has or whatever. You'll notice that a lot of my goals are very work-based, very passion-based. They're very much so based off of like my growth, my revenue income, my amount of time working, the size of my body, things like that. They're very much so attached to what I do for a living. So you can see that in my life right now where I am, I'm very much so goal driven and very much so work oriented. Now, of course, I do have that balance where I have my life, I have my friends and all that stuff where I mix it in there. But I will say that I am more towards a work type of person at the moment. But who knows, when I'm 30, maybe when I'm 35, maybe when I'm 40, my whole life could be changed in a different way. So this is something that you have to analyze and realize as you're going, that you can change, and you have to look at how you perceive things and decide whether you're the same person or if you've kind of changed a little bit. And maybe in the future, I will be way more oriented towards just pleasure and friends and family and spending time doing whatever I want and being able to have free time stuff, more so than trying to progress something bigger than myself, a brand, an organization, or my work, or my physique, or my passions. But here's where the balance part comes in. Just listening to what I just said, I'm much more work-based. This is how I look at finding the balance. This is a really good analogy to put it as. I look at the amount of time that I have to spend on anything, right? Think of it as like currency, right? It's some money. And you walk into a store, and the store is where you get to buy what you're spending your time or your money on, right? So you walk up and you can either purchase all of that one produce, right? But it's expensive, right? And that's work. And you can buy as much of that, you know, truffle, banana concoction or whatever. It looks super good, it looks super tasty, and you're gonna buy it, right? But it costs so much, and you wanna get some other things, right? So now you have to decide how much of this one type of item that you wanted compared to getting all these other items, and now you have to split up the amount you spend on this so that you have enough money to buy these other things. Now, I don't know if I explained that analogy quite perfectly, but you see what I'm saying? No matter how much you want that one item, no matter how much you want to work or just have fun or whatever, you have to look at it and then be like, right, but I do need to save some money over for the rest of the things. And then you have to decide your priorities of how much you want that one thing and how much you want to lend your money or your time to the other things. So like I said, because I'm very work-based, when I look at my time that I have to spend on things, I look at the amount of time I spend on work and I decide how much I need to have minimum on that, and then I look at how much time I'm gonna spend on other things. Okay, look, this one friend wants to catch up over dinner. Kurt wants to go play some soccer tennis this weekend, and I want to go look at some new shoes. So then me, just because this is how I work, is I look at those other things that I want to do rather than the things that I need to do in my head, the work stuff, and I think, how much time is it going to take? And then I weigh it and I say, that's going to take me a whole 6 hours of one night to do that event. Is that worth taking 6 hours away from building designs, making a new video, answering comments, coaching my clients, etc., etc., etc.? and then I decide whether or not I want to spend my time on that leisure activity and whether or not it's going to take away from the work activity. Now, looking at the situation like this, weighing what stuff I want to do with how much time it's going to take and how much I could get done here at work and how much I could get done here at leisure. It's the way that works for me because I like to look at things very logically, and then I'll decide, you know, what I want to go spend time doing, and then I'll be like, nah, you know, that's not really worth my time. I don't really like that concert or whatever, and it doesn't really benefit me to go out with all those people I don't even know, so I'm going to continue working. You know, it works very well for me, but I will say you have to have a balance, because a lot of times you will get into that mindset where you're like, you know, I just want to work, I just want to work, I just want to work, and you'll spend no time with your family, your friends, or doing anything that you enjoy. And I feel like the balance is what makes it possible to continue doing for a long time. It makes it sustainable, right? Because if you never talk to your family ever, they're gonna start being like, wow, this guy sucks. Like, where's my brother? Where's my son? Where's my cousin? You know, that stuff. Your family's like, what the hell? Or maybe like you start ignoring your girlfriend or your boyfriend, right? And they're like, yo, like this is really weird. Like I understand you gotta work a lot, but like you never pay attention to me. Or you aren't even here when you are here, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said before, there's those times where you need to be 100% either way. You need to be dominant with either one. But then there's that point where you have to weigh how much time is going to be spent on work, how much time is going to be spent on leisure, and how much you can afford to sacrifice either way, depending on which one you want to be more dominant about. Because, of course, everything in life needs to be balanced, and everybody needs to have a little bit of time to put with everything. So there's a little bit of rambling on the topic. I hope that kind of sparked some ideas, because there was a lot going through my head right here, and I was just trying to figure out how to like kind of word this into a video. The last little thing that I kind of want to put in this video is I feel like you should have your minimums. So depending on where you are, what your priority is that you're dominant about. For example, mine is work, right? I feel like you should have your minimums, because you know that if you hit your minimums, you'll at least be satisfied. You don't want to be dissatisfied by trying to sacrifice yourself to doing something that you don't quite want to do, because you will not be happy. So you need to be happy as well as balancing your life, right? So what I'm saying with minimums is that, for example, I personally need to put out 4 videos a week. I need to come up with 1 new design for a hat, for a shirt, for whatever it is each month. I have a couple of minimum things that I need to do, right? So every single week I make sure that I hit those minimums, and if I haven't hit those minimums, then these other things that I was gonna spend my time on, I say, you can wait, you have to wait, because I haven't put up my video on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. I haven't done this, I haven't answered my clients, I haven't gotten back to this brand, I haven't responded to these messages, you know what I'm saying? So you have to decide what your minimums are, state them very plainly to yourself, maybe even write them out on a notepad, that way you know what your minimums are. And that could even be the other way around. It could be about, you know, I need to hang out with my best friend 3 times minimum a week. I need to see my family once on Sunday every single week. You know what I'm saying? There can be minimums either way, but I feel like those minimums will make sure that you do hit what you absolutely want and need to hit viscerally inside of you. You'll hit those things, and then even if you don't do more in this area that you wanted to, at least you hit the minimum and you'll be at least satisfied. You'll feel at least comforted a little bit. So there you have it, guys. I feel like as I went throughout that video, I kind of had more and more ideas coming out on me, and I was just like kind of going all over the place. This is such an interesting topic, balancing your life. It's not an easy thing to do by any means, and I don't feel like anybody truly ever has your life completely balanced, because there are things that come in. Your life is very dynamic. It's always changing. So I feel like there's always room to analyze and see what you are doing properly and balancing, and how you can fix it and change it. So if you guys have any ideas on this topic, if you have any sort of perspective you want to add in there, please leave it in the comments below. I appreciate it. I look through the comments. It helps me broaden my own idea on this, because you guys have now my perspective. You've heard me talk for like 10 minutes now, but I want to hear you talk. I want to hear what you have to say about it. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. The Beyond beanies and hats will be coming next month, probably around the 15th of March. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm just wearing it so you guys can kind of see a preview. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Thick Solid Tight. Make sure you follow me on Snapchat, Brian Turner. I will see you guys in the next video. Team Beyond the Week. CT.
Lift heavy or die, MIRIN, motherfucker.